Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude Beyond Mystic, and welcome to this special report. Yes, was it all for show? That's the title of the slide today. Thank you so much for joining us this Sunday afternoon. This was another impromptu show. We weren't supposed to do a show this afternoon, but I woke up this morning with a lot of thoughts, and I decided maybe I should come out and share this with you guys. If you like this new format, I'm doing these solo videos. Let me know. I just feel like it's kind of cool that I can have a conversation out loud with you guys as I'm preparing for other shows and have some ideas I want to share. And it's also a good opportunity for me to take the pulse one on one with you guys. So if you like these, give me a thumbs up. Before we start with the subject matter, of course, of was it all for show, I do want to give you a quick update on this last video, the Trump fear porn. A special report I put out the other day. Now, I was reading in the comments below the video that many people were trying to post this on their Facebook, and it was being deleted. So I'm like, huh, that's weird. So I went to my Facebook page, and lo and behold, it was also removed. And as you can see here at the bottom, it says, yeah, we remove your posts. It looks like you're trying to get likes, follows, shares, or video views in a misleading way, I'm told. So it's against their community standards. So they did remove it also from my own Facebook page. So I guess that's another reminder, guys, to maybe subscribe if you haven't already here to our Twitter account or on our Rumble if you don't want to miss a beat there. And hopefully, as things continue here with this new administration, we might have some resolve here with some of this crazy censorship that appears to be still ongoing. So, big thank you to all of you watching today. Please let me know, of course, where you're watching from. Always cool to see at the 4 p.m. Time slot on Sunday who's actually here in the live chat or not. Now, I did start the show on time, so we're not on French waiter time today. I'm not sure if Cliff is in the chat, but thank you for that post on your Twitter, sir. You're kind of funny. Okay, so let's get started. When I did the let me change decks here. When I did the first reboot of the Wacky Woo franchise show with Joe just a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the fact that it appeared that we were watching a movie, and to some extent, I believe Cliff also developed this idea on one of his Substack, maybe also a month ago, or at least maybe 2 weeks ago. So if you haven't seen that, go check it out. So let me play this short clip here of Joe and I having this exchange about whether or not we are watching all a movie, and that leads us into a comment that Trump made during the rally. So let's play that first, and then we'll come back here to the special report. I want to play a video, Joe. You and I, in the last couple of years, uh, we've been kind of saying that we're watching a movie. We've said that in many different iterations for many different reasons. For example, we've talked about the fact that many of people who are on the TV screen pretending to be our leaders seem to be different from time to time. So there's like body replacements, there's doubles, there's all this stuff. So we're saying, okay, we're watching a movie. Sometimes we're watching events play out, and it's so comically timed that you're like, okay, it has to be a movie. Like,
Right.
what are the odds of this shit happening the way it's happening, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just in your face. Some of the comments that they're making or the winking back at the camera type of thing. It's just like, come on, man. Like, you guys need to do better. They're telling us basically we're watching a movie. So it's one thing for you and I to kind of say that. And to some extent, some people are frustrated with that because they're saying, fuck, man, this movie's way too long. Can we get it over with already? Blah, blah, blah. And
Yeah.
I think maybe it's about to end. And the reason I say that is a little clip here by Donald Trump. Oh, let me see if I can bring this back up. I just lost it on the tree. This one here. Let's listen to this clip, Joe. And then it sounds a lot like he's saying what you and I have been saying for 4 years, but suddenly it's the president saying it. So listen to this here, and we'll come back to decode it. Here you go.
The only good thing about what happened with this 4-year disaster is that the people will understand when we fix our country, they'll be much more understanding than they would have been if we just went straight ahead and did it. Because this country has never been laughed at like a bunch of dope.
So he's talking about the one good thing about this 4-year disaster is that now people will understand when we bring measures to correct it. He's kind of suggesting that all of this disaster that was occurring in the last 4 years might have been let happen some way so that to educate the population as to what the solution might have been, or at least get them ease them to the situation or the solution moving forward. So I thought that was really fascinating. So this is the premise for the show here today. I have a couple of other clips to share with you, and let's try to develop that a little bit further here. So first, let's take a pulse in the live chat. So thank you everyone for letting me know where you're watching from. Let me know, yes or no. Do you believe we're watching a show? Like, put that in the live chat now. So yes, we're watching a big show, or no, this is just normal humans doing stupid shit, and there's no rhyme or reason to what we've just seen happen over the last couple of years. So let me know in the live chat. I'm curious. There's a lot of yes already. Okay, so let's get to this tab. Now, in the last couple of months, we've seen. This is before the election. We saw a relatively feisty Trump coming out, Biden coming out. Sorry, here he's got his hands in a fist and pretty angry in this particular address. The color there in the background seemed to suggest that he was on fire. I'm being facetious, of course, given all the nomenclature of the Nazi connotations to Trump, but you get my drift. So he seemed to be on the ball, ready for the election, and then suddenly it appears that he wasn't. And many of us were reporting clips where he seemed to be misspeaking, tripping all over the place, perhaps even shitting his pants. There's reports of that also. But the mainstream media was telling us, oh, no, you guys are all taking that out of context. He's fine. He's sharp as a tack. He's at the top of his game. Like, you guys know. So we had all of this huge campaign telling us that, he was so strong that even his staffers were tired because of all of his vigor in the White House. So let's play this clip here to remind us of the mainstream media and how they were telling us that Biden was sharp as a tack and the top of his game. And this is a cool contrast montage here with the debate night here with Donald Trump. So let's play this one and we'll get back.
This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever.
He is sharp, intensely probing, and detail-oriented and focused.
For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. Billionaires in America.
This is a man who is sharp, who is on top of his game, who knows what's going on.
He's smart. He's on his game. His mental acuity is great.
This is a very sharp president.
And the people that I've talked to say he's as sharp as a tack. He's fine.
They say he's sharp.
There's not a problem.
He was sharp.
He was sharper than anyone I've spoken to.
The president is sharp and he is tireless.
He is sharp
as ever.
And he's fine. All this right-wing propaganda that his mental acuity is behind is wrong.
His brain is good. He's still great.
He is sharp in meetings.
I believe the people who say that behind closed doors, Joe Biden remains sharp.
In meetings, Joe Biden is sharp.
He's sharp. He's fit.
There is nothing to these challenges, these suggestions
Nothing
that
to it.
somehow
Nope.
he's not sharp. He's sharp as a tack.
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat.
Okay, that's enough torture for now. But you get my point, and it's easy to forget. And for a lot of our friends who thought that he was sharp as a tack, you kind of have to give them this video and that montage of all the mainstream news telling us the contrary, and of course telling us that we were the propagandists for saying, "Hey, wait, maybe there's a problem here in the background." So I hope you like watching that montage. But let's keep going here. There's more on the sled deck for you guys. So right after that, after the debate, I had, of course, Donald Trump come out. He was on a golf course, and apparently somebody recorded him saying, "Oh no, Biden's already resigned." He seemed to know that before the fact here from the campaign, and that we were going to be given Kamala Harris as a replacement. And at the time, everybody was kind of laughing at him, like, you don't know what you're talking about, Trump. Like, what are you talking about? And lo and behold, just a couple of days later, Biden did, in fact, resign. Now, that's interesting because right after that, of course, they gave us Kamala, just as Trump said. And here too, like when we ask the question, was it all for show? We have to put this in context. So if we rewind the tape to just before the debate, maybe, so this was April, the mainstream news in a similar montage were all in agreement that Kamala was kind of bad news, that she was the worst decision maybe that Biden had made. Here it says that she was actually dragging Biden down for his bid for re-election, right? So they were telling the mainstream news that they were telling us that she really didn't have a record. She was a no-show for 4 years, and that voters didn't like her. And so it was funny because the minute Biden resigned, suddenly, hey, she's the best thing since sliced bread. She's got Trump worried. He's shaking in his boots, and they all had the same rhetoric moving forward. And they concocted this fantastical story about this superwoman hero here, Kamala Harris, during the campaign. So again, a big flip-flop from the mainstream media. And you have to wonder, like, is it really all of a show? But here's where it got interesting. And I'm leading up to something here, guys. So it got interesting because right after that, Biden seemed to switch side. So here he is, and no, that's not AI. You guys can go watch the videos. There's many different angles and reports of it. But Biden seemed to be trolling the Democrats here by wearing this Trump cap. So it's like, what just happened here? Was Biden playing a game all along? Was he rusing us somehow? Well, that's the question for today. So let's move on the slide deck here just a little bit more. And if I'm lucky here too, I might have a guest that's going to join us here in a few minutes, and we might get to ask them questions. So stay with me here. All right. So of course, right after the election, Biden is of course, helping out the Trump campaign by calling Trump supporters garbage. He's wearing the MAGA hat at the same time. So very confusing times. And of course, the electorate is being told that there's no chance Trump will ever get back into office. And yet here we stand. This was posted, I think, on the 6th. November 6th. At that time, there was 312 electoral votes, 5 million popular vote lead. The House, the Senate, it was a little landslide for Trump. Again, completely in contrast to what the mainstream news was telling us at the time, right? So this huge tsunami, I think, was starting to wake up some people. And as I was looking at that, I think it was on the Friday show, at one point, I was having a conversation with Janine. I said, we kind of have to step back from the computers here, from both the mainstream news, but also away from alt media. And we have to try to decode what perhaps is really happening at the bigger picture, maybe even from the ether, to try to have a better understanding of our reality. And so that's leading me to this today. So after the election, of course, Trump gives his celebratory speech. Kamala kind of does the same thing, but she says fight, fight, fight 19 times in 12 minutes, which was perplexing for a lot of people. But what became even more perplexing was this video by Biden. So he was addressing now Trump's victory. So let's play that very quickly here, and we'll come back.
See you all. Particularly good to see my granddaughter sitting in the front row here. Hi, Finn. How are you, honey? For over 200 years, America has carried on the greatest experiment in self-government in the history of the world. And that's not hyperbole. That's a fact. We're the people. The people vote and choose their own leaders, and they do it peacefully. And we're in a democracy. The will of the people always prevails. Yesterday, I spoke with President-elect Trump to congratulate him on his victory. And I assured him that I'd direct my entire administration to work with his team to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition. That's what the American people deserve.
Now, I could stop there. There's 3 more minutes, but you get the point. Suddenly, he's very articulate. He seems to be sharp as a tack. What just happened? Is he on cocaine? Did somebody give him an injection of some sorts? But he's coherent. So it made a lot of people think, what just happened? So there's this funny video that came out. Let me change slides here. This one here. Like, look at this. He's kind of walking away here and then looking back at the camera. That's the typical. Look at that. Okay. Kind of winking back at all of us, telling you, I fucking played you, right? Maybe. I don't know. That's the whole point of having this conversation today about whether or not it was all for show. So let's ask Trump here. Was it all for show? He seemed to be alluding in the last couple of weeks that things were coming out, right? He did mention that there's a big secret also at the Senate level. And he seemed to be, and whether you like him or not, in the last couple of months, ahead of the game. He told us stuff, and then it would happen 2-3 days later, sometimes 2-3 months later. Just like when he said that Biden had already resigned, nobody knew that at the time. He seemed to know, right? And so it's interesting to see here. Perhaps there's a connotation between Biden actually running a show here for the Trump campaign. That's where I'm getting at with all of this. So there was an AI clip that was put together. Luke Radowski reposted it on his Twitter earlier today. And this is a conversation between now Biden and Obama. Now, it is an AI clip. It's constructed. But for the people who just step back here, just, open your mind to the idea that potentially this is a version of what could have just happened here in our realm. So let's play this clip.
Tough break for Cammy, huh?
You just started a war.
No, I just finished one.
I am going to do everything in my power to end you.
Listen here, I've been around a lot longer than you.
Yeah, no shit.
You never understood how this really works. You were always a good soldier for them, but not me. I didn't get plucked out of nowhere like you did. I spent 40 years hiding skeletons for those fucks.
I knew you were fucking stupid, but this is insane. You really don't know the enemies you just made. We are going to erase you from history.
Oh, like I give a fuck. I've made my bed. I'll lay in it. I know my family is protected. How about yours? How long do you think before investigations start? How long do you think you'll stay useful to them? Besides, give yourself some credit. You were the one that dared him to run, but now I gave him the Oval Office. How about you?
Joe, what the fuck did you do?
I don't remember. I'm just a crazy old man, right?
Did you make a deal with him?
Like I said, my family's protected. Hold on, I got someone who wants to talk to you.
Hello, Barry. It's been quite a long time, hasn't it?
This isn't fucking over.
I'm not an idiot, Barry. I just play one on TV.
Not an idiot, Barry. Barry Satoro. I'm just one. I just play one on TV. Okay. Again, it's just an AI. It's a recreation, guys. But it's a scenario that we must contemplate. So, or at least I want to contemplate it here. And before you go too far, it's like, oh, JC, that's hogwash. Well, hold on a second. He said in there, well, my family is protected. Remember the laptop from hell story? That was protected for a long time. And to some extent, you could suggest that it's still being protected, right? A lot of the things in there have not yet been adjudicated. Although Hunter Biden is facing 17 years in jail, there's a lot of stuff in there that researchers have brought out that have still to make the light of day, at least from a judicial point of view. So he still may very well be protected. And this could be the linchpin or the genesis from which an alliance between the Biden family and the Trump campaign or the White Hat campaign might have sprung together. Like, think about it. So I'm going to pull you here again just before I bring up my guest, but do you think it's possible? Do you think that the Biden family somehow made a deal with the Trump campaign for what he says here, family protection moving forward? And given the fact that he was sharp as a tack, then senile, then sharp as a tack, then senile, and of course, smiling at the camera as he's leaving here into the sunset, would suggest that there's a possibility there. So give me a yes or no. Do you think Biden made a deal with the Trump campaign? All right. So to discuss all of this, let me bring up the one and only Janine. Janine, welcome back. Thank you for joining me here on a Sunday. How's it going?
Hey, Jean-Claude. Hey, everybody. It's going good.
Janine, what the fuck, man? Did you see that AI video before I did this clip? What do you think?
Yeah, I've seen actually several all along those lines.
Yeah.
And I also saw that one where he turns back and looks at the camera and smiles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's your gut feeling? Are we watching a show? Was
Oh,
this
yeah.
all scripted? Well, okay. So to some extent, I'm doing this video, Janine, for perhaps the new people coming on board who haven't watched our shows before. You and I've been decoding this movie for the last 4 years or so, maybe 5 now together, right? So we are very much of the opinion that we're being played, and we're being played from both sides of the aisle. We've said this many times before. But now, specifically about this Trump-Biden alliance, you and I talked about this on the show the other night, and we said, when Biden did that speech after Trump's win of the election, we pulled cards asking if this was not necessarily a reveal that he was a white hat, but a reveal that eventually would lead us to know that there's actually white hats in charge, and that all of this was a movie for 4 years. And your cards were leaning towards the yes. There was the 2 major arcana cards on that first row, and there were still some secrets remain to be revealed. But so this is what leads me to today for the people who, just joining us now and trying to understand the reality. Do you want to do a poll? Do you want to do old school? Do you have a card deck? Oh, you have a card deck. Let me bring up the card deck for the audience here. I think that's pretty good. Maybe just align just a tad there. How do you want to How do you want to frame that first question? We've looked at it last week. Standing where we are today, having had the introduction here of this video and the background for today's conversation, like, how do you want to ask the question about the Trump-Biden alliance, so to speak? Do you want to go like very high, 40,000 foot pull, and then we'll drill down? Or what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's look from the big picture here.
Okay. There's a lot of yes in the chat. A lot of people think, yeah, it looks like a movie, Janine.
I'm going to have to get tricky with how I'm placing these here.
Okay, that's pretty good.
There.
Okay. Now, I could have added to that, but I'm trying to make the video as short as I can here for Sunday. But I could have added all the different iterations of Biden we've had for years, all the different earlobes, the color of their eyes, the chins, the Baltinian Biden. Like, there's all these guys, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then the day that he resigned, he's like about a foot taller than the day before he resigned. Like, you guys can go check all that stuff out. It's available if you want to find it. It's everywhere on the web. So we could have added that to the conversation also. So now we're looking at what we need to know about potential alliance between Biden, whether his family is protected somehow, and that there's a deal that was made here to play the script the way it was played this year.
Can't get that glare off.
That's okay. We see the
So I'll
card.
just, yeah.
Yeah.
We know that that's the high priestess. Anyway, so let's start over here. We've got the Two of Wands, which is, there is a safety to this card. So the idea that his family's safe, or he's coming from a safe perspective. Okay, and then we've got the Three of Wands here going into brand new territory. But this card in the past looks like already justice served. So I wonder if his family's protected, but he's already faced justice as a person himself, the actual guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and now we've got the Temperance card here. So we've got the three. I wonder if he made sure some of his family members were protected and then faced his own justice.
Well, that's what we're getting at here. There might have been more details to that deal, but it seems to be alluded here that there's protection involved at some level. And that's not to say that they're not facing justice, but they might have commuted sentences or leniency or clemency here moving forward, and that is part of the deal here. Go ahead.
I would say that would be the case. Now we've got Temperance in the middle, which is, this has still got some playing out to do. So I don't think we're going to know for sure here, probably for a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
And then here, and the reason for that, maybe they're proceeding with a lot of caution. So depending on how everybody going forward, it always seems to me like they're checking in with the public and seeing how things are being, like, how are people taking it? I'm moving these down just to get it out of the glare a bit. But yeah, so here with the star, this is interesting. So that's our otherworldly card. So that's very interesting. And the High Priestess. These two are really mysterious and talk about, I feel like things are going to go way out there before we get back to practical things like what's been true and what hasn't. I think we're going to see really where aliens fit into our world. I think we're going to see crazy technologies coming out. A lot of things are going to appear here in the next little while. Lots of big secrets around, aliens. I'm thinking, looking at the secrets, alien secrets, proceeding with caution before they bring this other stuff out. So maybe they're going to really show us what the real world is like on levels, and then circle back to show us why they had to play the movie out the way they did.
Okay. Let me develop the second part of the segment for this special report here today, and then we'll come back for another pull, Janine. So let me change decks here. Let's go here. So, okay. So for all intents and purposes, we are watching a scripted movie. There's definitely unscripted stuff happening. If you guys watched the interview I did with Jay Weiner, I think it was 2 months ago, he's suggesting that there's actually 2 movies playing and they're both in competition, and people are dropping from one movie to the other movie. So that was an interesting show also, if you haven't seen it. Now, moving forward, when we think about the assassination itself, what that meant, and all the questions that are still behind that assassination. Who was involved? Was it really a bullet? Did he actually get shot? Was it let to happen? Was it made to happen? There's still a lot there. This happened in July. We're November 10th, and we still don't have sufficient answers around all of that subject. Now, moving the dial after the election, we now have a very interesting person being named as the chief of staff here in the West Wing. And Cliff posted earlier today too, like, yeah, big pharma, enough said. So she has big connections here to big pharma. So Janine and I, after the election, we did a video and we said to people, we need to be cautiously optimistic. We need to keep these people's feet to the fire. We can't just go away, hey, we won, and give our power away, right? We have to stay very vigilant here moving forward. And that's why I bring this up. And it's not an accusation of this person, but given the resume, we have to keep an eye on it, right? Now we have, you just mentioned it, Janine, this whole idea of disclosure in ET. We've been tracking this for a number of years. And in the last couple of months, we're seeing more and more of the rhetoric out. We're seeing more disclosure, official disclosure, drip drop as it may be from the Pentagon and other sources. But we're also getting from not from influencers, but experiencers, the fact that this is also on the rise. And then when you and I pulled on this in the last month, looking at the second moon in orbit, we got that disclosure was on the corner, that there's going to be contention, both real alien stuff and fake alien stuff all together. Again, in the context of here, is it just for show? Are we going to be treated to a big show moving forward? I bring that for you for your consideration. Now, from the economic standpoint, right after the election, the White House was put into this gold light, suggesting, as Trump was echoing in the last couple of months, that we were about to enter a golden era of sorts. Your cards are seeming to suggest that there's going to be more turmoil before we get to the golden era, that there's a lot to come out before we have perhaps a say and how do I say it? Not a say, but a regency, I guess, on how we move forward with our country. It very much looks like the movie's not over. So I'll get to that in just a moment. Now, on top of that, just last night, I was at an event. I was like, oh, wow, Bitcoin's at $80,000 USD. What the hell just happened? And I was at martial arts events yesterday, and I was speaking to people who I used to teach at the dojo, I don't know, many years ago when Bitcoin was like $500. And there's a couple of people in that room who were really, really happy with me when they saw these prices today. Like, they know they bought at that price when I was giving those courses. I'll see if I can find the picture and share that with you guys. I think it was 2017. I forget what year it was, but it's a long time ago. But again, all of this now tying into this surreal reality we're moving into, where this was $1 and now it's $80,000. And it's making a mockery of the Jim Cramers of the world, who said like that people were stupid if they were buying Bitcoin. And now, of course, we have Donald Trump suggesting that we needed a Bitcoin reserve. And he just recently also repeated that he would never allow a CBDC to be installed here in the USA. So again, a lot of moving parts here that beg the question as to, Janine, are we still now in a movie? And if so, what's the second part of the movie going to look like? Let's do a big 40,000-foot poll on that one. You just mentioned you think it's going to get worse before it gets better. We're going to get some disclosure, some ETs, a huge shock in the financial system. If you look at your world news from a couple of days ago and the show we did Thursday on Rumble, we could be in for a weird change here even as early as next week. So what is this second? Are we still in a movie? And what does this second part look like? And yes, I know I'm triple casting to YouTube. I'll be removing that. Actually, let me remove that just right now, just to make sure. Guys, if you're on YouTube, come and join us here on the Rumble feed. Thank you.